Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Winter is definitely making itself felt here in Italy. And as I'm recording this video, sky is grey, the air is damp, and during this time of year, I often find myself losing a bit of inspiration to draw. Just like a plant, I feel like I need the sun to create. As much as I love the idea of making seasonal spreads, this week nostalgia for spring completely took over. I miss the warmer light, the air filled with the scent of pollen, and the vibrant colors of nature waking up again. So I went searching for inspiration on Pinterest, as you do, typing spring, and among thousands of images, one in particular caught my eye. A little blue feathered bird perched on a flowering branch. I was immediately captivated by the softness of the image and felt the need to bring it to life in my sketchbook. And that's how this spread was born, a double-page illustration filled with little birds chilling on branches, all surrounded by a serene, spring-like atmosphere. For all the birds, I started with a rough pencil sketch. In all honesty, I wanted to go straight with pen, but in the end, I gave in to my own self-doubt. I'm still not confident enough to get it right on the first try. For the inking, I use a multicolor pen, which I think I've already shown in other videos. It has a bunch of colors in it and I really like it. I focus on line art and cross-hatching to add texture and depth. Then I move on to watercolors, using my two watercolor palettes, the Viviva colors and the Van Gogh. I try to dilute the colors just enough to keep the pen strokes visible underneath, creating an effect that I really like. This technique is growing on me. Ink adds a wonderful texture, while watercolors bring a soft veil of color that completes the illustration. Though honestly, I think these drawings could stand on their own just with pen. I'm sure I'll continue exploring this combination. The first little bird is the one that inspired the entire composition. A small blue bird perched on a flowering bench. I later found out that their feathers aren't actually blue. Their colors come from the way their feather structure reflects light. Nature is full of cool tricks like this. The second is a blue jay, which immediately stood out to me because of its striking plumage, almost like a mosaic of blue stones. Initially, I wanted to limit my tools to just pen and watercolors, but to get those crisp white highlights on these wingtips, I had to use a white Uniposca. Fun fact, blue jays can mimic hawk calls to scare away predators. I actually discovered this technique by accident one weekend. I had brought my sketchbook, a multicolor pen and a pencil with me, and while I was at my boyfriend's house, I saw some parrots eating pomegranates straight from the trees. I slowly crept closer and made a quick sketch to capture the moment. Later, when I got home, I decided to use gray watercolor to add depth to the blank areas. Then I added a lime green from my Viviva color palette, and that's when I realized I wanted to finish the entire page using this technique. The third bird is a kingfisher, a common sight in my area, especially in coastal towns. I've always found this bird fascinating. It has such a unique look, with vivid color contrasts that really stand out. There's even an entire neighborhood named after the kingfisher in a seaside town near me. This little guy is a skilled fisher and can dive underwater to catch his prey. The last one is a blue tit, way too adorable not to draw. The way its tiny head almost disappears into its round fluffy body is just too cute. His plumage is also super interesting, especially around his head. And get this, blue tits are incredibly adaptable and have been known to open milk bottles in gardens to get the cream inside. Clever little things. I have to say, making this bread brought me a little joy and a fresh brush of inspiration, which I needed. In past years, I would often stop drawing entirely around this time. I almost like going into hibernation, only to pick it up again in early spring. It wasn't something I did intentionally, it's just that my mind struggled to create during colder months. But ever since I started appreciating what's around me, that hasn't been happening as much. The art of noticing, they say. Now I take tons of photos of beautiful clouds, sunsets, sunrise, and animals I see on the street, like the parrots I mentioned in this video. Maybe this habit has helped me keep a creative mindset, and if you struggle with winter slumps too, I definitely recommend trying it out. What about you? Do you also find it harder to create in winter? If so, how do you handle it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I had so much fun creating this spread, and I'm definitely going to experiment with this technique again, using different subjects. The combination of pen and watercolor is really growing on me. It adds so much richness and depth to each piece. If you try something similar, tag me on Instagram at rosmenta_studio. I'd love to see your version. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe to my channel. It will help me a lot. I will see you next week with another video and I send you much love. Bye!